What's going on mga boss? Welcome back to my channel. Kuya is here again for another video. Matagal-tagal tayong hindi nakakapag-upload kasi masyadong busy mag-alaga. So, a couple days ago, nag-post ako sa Facebook kung sinong gustong matuto ng variable valve timing. At marami namang nag-comment at nag-react. So, right now, yan yung pag-uusapan natin. No? We're gonna discuss basic. Basic lang to. It's applicable to pretty much kung anong makina yung ginagawa nyo na may variable valve timing. Okay, so today pag-uusapan natin yung variable valve timing, particularly yung dual overhead cam, yung dalawang VVT or phaser or VCT. Kasi yung single overhead cam medyo medyo complicated ba? Hindi naman complicated kasi isa lang yung cam. So whatever you do to the intake will actually affect the exhaust. So at yung sample natin today is dual overhead cam. Phaser. Hindi ito yung VTEC ha. Kasi yung VTEC iba yun eh. Although it's still a variable valve timing thing, it's not actually changing the advance or yung time na pagbukas or pagsara ng valve. Sa VTEC, ang binago nila yung lift. So yung bukas, kung gaano kalaki yung bukas or gaano kalit yung bukas. Okay? But if you increase yung bukas, magbabago rin yung duration. So it is timing din, pero in this case yung basic variable lang. Ang tawag nila doon is phasing. So cam phasing timing. So yun yung pag-uusapan natin. So ang iba dito tawag phasers. Okay? Kasi ang VCT system actually is phasing. Kumbaga from the word phase, yung binabago yung what do you call this one? Ina-adjust ba? Phase. So phaser din yung tawag nila dito. So wag kayong yung iba VVT, di ba? Ano ba yung components ng VVT? Nilista ko dito yung complete to ha. From PCM, VVT solenoid, VCT solenoid, pag Ford actually VCT variable camshaft timing. I understand yung iba VVT sa Toyota variable valve timing. So VVT yung solenoid, yung actual VVT or VCT or your phaser.
Ay, sorry.
Meron tayong gumatching dito na ano. So yung actual VCT, yung phaser mismo is sprocket. Tapos camshaft of course yung phase natin, yung ina-adjust natin. Sensor, camshaft position sensor. Okay, so bakit matagal na tong variable valve timing thing na ito, napakatagal na kasi may benefits paggamit ng ganito or paglalagay ng ganito. Ito yung pinaka-simple system right now out there, yung VVT o VCT o phaser. May mga may mga ibang design at ito yung may mga ibang design ng valve timing, and this is the easiest and simplest one. Dinagdag nila yung variable valve timing na yan to reduce emission, tsaka ma-increase yung power. Ano bang tawag doon? Yung kumbaga ma-optimize or maximize yung power ng makina kapag kailangan. Okay? So by adjusting the camshaft, you're allowing the intake valve to open more or not more or sooner to open sooner, allowing more air to come in. Okay? So pag binuksan mo yung intake ng mas maaga, mas maraming air na papasok. At syempre, pagka maagang bumukas yung intake, mas mabilis din magsasara, di ba? So, pag bumukas yung intake ng mas maaga, mas maraming air na papasok. You know why? Because yung exhaust din ay... Oh shit, fuck that. So, bakit ba sila nagpunta doon sa fixed camshaft, yung walang variable timing, doon sa pagkakaroon ng VVT or VCT? The main thing is to, improve emission or reduce emission, improve performance ng makina to maximize yung power at high rev. You can actually just read it here. Valve overlap is one thing. Eliminate EGR system. So, kung mapapansin nyo sa ibang sasakyan, wala silang EGR system. So, naghanap kayo ng EGR valve, wala silang valve na ganon. Walang EGR valve kasi they have a twin cam variable timing. So, dalawa yung camshaft, double overhead cam na may VCT or VTT. So, valve overlap, they do that by overlapping the valve. Okay, so sinasara nila ng late yung exhaust valve para pag intake, pag pull ng piston downward, hindi yung ibang exhaust from doon sa combustion ay may higop pabalik. Kasi bukas pa yung exhaust valve, pa-intake na yung piston pababa. So, yung ibang hangin is force, yung exhaust na lumabas na o palabas na ay matatrap hanggang magsara yung exhaust valve. So, matatrap sa loob, displacing some of the space, yung dapat sana pupunuan ng hangin at fuel mixture, mababawasan, and therefore will reduce emission and temperature. Actually, temperature ng cylinder i-reduce, at pagka na-reduce mo yung cylinder temperature, mababawasan din ng emission. Like I said, sa high RPM, more power relies on oil. So, yung VCT system natin or VVT system natin, variable valve timing, it will not work without oil. Okay? So, meron niyang kailangan may pressure dyan for this to even work. Without oil, hindi yan gagana. Okay? We're gonna look into this like kung paano actually yung galawan. I have a sample here. I'm gonna show you. So just to reiterate, I give you guys some like generic DTC na makikita nyo dito dealing with VCT issues. So ito mas commonly na nakikita ko yung mga ganito pagka may variable valve timing issue. So ito yung mga generic. Okay? Not all, kasi pagka may specific kayong yung scanner specific nyo, you're probably gonna see some weird DTC. This is for like general OBD2. So ito yung makikita nyo. This is the command and strategy monitor ng system. We're just gonna get to that later on, last part of this video. For now, I want you to guys see kung paano yung adjustment ba. Kasi minsan nakakalito di ba, wala na yung mga baguhan. Paano nag-a-adjust yun? Yung crankshaft tsaka yung camshaft kailangan sync, di ba? So, I know marami sa inyo alam na ito. Doon sa mga baguhan lang, I'm gonna show you how that actually happens, kung paano nag-a-adjust yung camshaft. Okay? yung sample ko ngayon is from Ford. Obviously, I work there. But they have the same, the principle, at least the principle and theory is pretty much the same. They always rely on oil pressure unless it's totally electronic. That's probably for high end, but for the most part, they rely on oil pressure. So maybe mayroong mga pagbabago na, different design, but in general, they work the same way. I'm gonna show you guys how that actually happens at kung paano nagbabago yung camshaft bulb timing. Okay? So ayun mga boss, kumuha tayo ng sample doon kanina sa work para may pakita sa inyo kung ano yung nasa loob ng isang VCT or phaser or VVT. Like I said, this is just generic, mga ibang design, but they're pretty much all the same. Okay, and I picked this one because as you guys can see, some of the components that kung mapapansin nyo, masyadong manipis kasi yung spring nasa labas. So nakikita natin, di ba? Yung iba, yung spring nasa loob. You're not even allowed to take it apart because the spring tension is really mataas. Okay? Especially yung mga nasa loob. Ito nasa labas kaya medyo madali-daling tanggalin. So anyway, tinanggal ko na yung spring kanina with the vise. It's safer. At babaklasin natin to. I have intake here. So intake, nakita nyo I. Tapos ito ay exhaust right here. Nakita nyo yung letter E na yan. And exhaust. Okay? So pretty much the same, but hindi mo siya pwedeng pagbaliktarin kasi may yung pag-ikot niyan magkaiba. So ito yung bolt that goes in here in the middle. At ito yung sinasabi nating VVT solenoid or VCT solenoid. Okay? Pinalitan ko to like a while back, kaya sinave ko para meron tayong sample dito. But anyway, this is just an actuator. So 2 pins, 12 volts and ground, computer controlled, and then this will actually allow oil to flow through into the phaser para bumukas. But let's go ahead and tear this one apart. Yung original nito ipapakita ko na lang sa video kung paano ito talaga nakaset up. Yung nakakabit pa yung spring para malaman nyo kung paano. But tinanggal ko na yung spring and yung bolt at bubuksan natin to. So ganito mga boss, no? Apat lang naman yan. You're not supposed to take this apart anyway kasi pagpapalitan mo to buo, di ba? So tingnan natin yung loob kung ano ang loob niya. Ito yung plate sa unahan, yung sa ibabaw. Yan, makikita yan sa ibabaw yan kasi nandiyan yung marking. So ito yung sa ibabaw ng plate. Tapos meron tong spring. Hindi ko lang kung nakikita ninyo. Lipat ako. So if you guys look here, there's a spring here. Ito lang yung internal nun. Napaka-simple, di ba? So, yung actually nakabolt sa camshaft ay, so tanggalin ko natin yung spring baka mahulog. Yung nakabolt sa camshaft ay this part right here. Itong nasa gitna ang nakabolt sa camshaft. Kung makikita ninyo, dito yung camshaft pupunta, mayroong guide dyan. Ila-line up nyo sa camshaft at yung bolt I actually yan nakabolt. So kung mapapansin nyo guys, yung internal, so I call this one actually a sprocket. Two part, meron siyang sprocket part tsaka yung variable itself. So yung sprocket side nya, yung part nya ay yung kung saan umano yung, o nakalagay yung nakakabit yung chain. Okay? Yung nakakabit yung chain doon sa sprocket side niya. Tapos, yung camshaft naman ay nakabolt dito sa variable niya. Doon sa internal, which is gonna be the variable valve timing. Okay? So, as you guys can see, yung walang connection, hindi ito nakakonect dito sa, yung internal, hindi nakakonect sa sprocket. Okay? So, hindi siya iisang unit. Okay, walay. Papaano sila nagiging isang unit? Kung mapapansin nyo guys, dun sa loob na yan, yung alam niyo yung pinanggalingan ng spring, sa loob na yon ay may, let's see kung we can remove it, may pin. By the way guys, itong mga nakita nyo empty, ano na dyan, pumapasok yung langis. So dyan pumapasok yung langis. Tanggalin muna natin yung spring at tignan natin kung anong mangyayari without this pin. I don't wanna flip it over, baka malaglag lahat eh. Ayun. So there's a pin there that holds everything together. So pagka yung pin ay naandoon sa lagyan niya, ipapakita ko nyo mamaya, yung internal ay nalalak doon sa sprocket. So kung wala yung ay mahulog kasi. Kung wala yung pin, pwede ko itong ikutin. Look what happened to the sprocket. Hindi gagalaw yung sprocket, but ito, pwede kong galawin. Kita nyo? Dito nakabolt yung camshaft ha. So ito yung camshaft bolt natin. Diyan nakabolt yung camshaft. So pagka wala yung pin doon, I can actually move the camshaft without moving the sprocket. So yung sprocket stationary, hindi gumagalaw. Yung chain station, ganun din, hindi nababago yung timing. But yung camshaft ang nagbabago. See that? This is an intake camshaft, so the rest position niya would be kung lock. Kung naka-lock, then that will be the rest position. So ano yung magko-cost nito na mag-change ng rotation o gumalaw? This guy right here. So pagka kinuha to ng PCM to turn on, papasok yung langis. Mahirap kasi makita. Tapos itutulak niya yung pin na tinanggal natin kanina. Ito. Itutulak niya yung pataas. Pag tumulak na yung pin pataas, then this one can rotate with the pagka may oil pressure na. So ikot na siyang ganun. Kung makikita niyo yung mga butas na yan sa loob. Yan. Diyan dadaan yung langis. Okay, may mga butas din yan dito. Diyan dadaan yung langis. At actually on this side, yung galing sa camshaft, diyan din dadaan yung langis. So may butas din yan sa camshaft. So ganon ang pag-ikot niya. Pagka wala namang oil, pagka in-off na ng PCM, so babalik yung spring. Ito kanina tinanggal natin, which is nakakabit dito sa isang na to, tsaka dito yung dulo. Ito yung actually magtutulak sa kanya pabalik. Itutulak niya yung pabalik like that. Pagka bumalik na siya, kasi nawala na rin yung oil, di ba? Pagka halimbawa in-off niya to, kasi ito lang yung provide ng oil. Pagka in-off ng PCM to, yung spring, itutulak niya tong pag ganon, at then lalabas na rin yung langis. Okay, pagka gumanon na yan, lalabas na yung langis. Ang mangyayari ngayon dito sa pin, ganito kasi yan guys. So yung pin may spring, tapos ito is kinda like seat, spring seat niya. So ang mangyayari ngayon, kunin ko lang ha. Ang mangyayari ngayon dito sa spring, sa pin na to, since spring loaded siya, yun, mahulog siya in place. Pagka nahulog siya doon in place, kasi ito, pagka nandito yung plate, ipopush niya yung ganyan yan. Okay? Ito rin yung plate, ipopush niya yung spring. Ngayon, kung kaya nandoon na yung pin, nagiging isang unit na sila. Actually, wait, hindi na shoot to sa ano eh. Wala kasi tumatulak eh. Kailangan ma-shoot siya doon sa lalagyan niya. Mahirap kasi yung bottom umiikot din. Nalaglag. Yung guide lang. So, lalagyan ko na ng bolt yung ilalim kasi nahihirapan ako eh. Umiikot din kasi yung backplate niya eh. Lagyan ko muna ng bolt ha. Para makita natin. Line up. Okay, yan. Ngayon, nandun na yung pin. So, nandun na yung pin. Siyempre, spring loaded yan. Pupush siya ng spring paloob. Pagka nandun na yung spring, you guys can't. Hindi mo na ito may ikot. Actually, you can still turn it because wala yung spring eh. Pero anyway, pagka nandun na yung spring kasi dapat yan, nakatulak ng ganyan. Hindi natin maano eh. Kasi wala yung ayan o. Pagka nandoon yung pin, hindi mo to pwedeng matulak. Magiging 1 unit sila. Gagalaw to ng buo. Okay? Pagka wala lang din yung pin, doon mo lang magagalaw yung camshaft. So, tignan natin yung backplate. Kung ano ba yung pinupuntahan ng pin. Napakasimpleng design, ano? They need to have something to para bumalik. In this case, spring. Kung mapapansin nyo guys, yung mga phaser o yung mga VCT na iba, makapal sila, mga ganyan. Kasi yung mechanism nila para bumalik ay nasa loob, and this one nasa labas kasi. So, kaya medyo manipis to, magaan, yun nga lang, it's prone to failure. We'll see. Let's open this up. Tingnan natin yung backside. Ano ba? Ayan. As you guys can see, the pin actually sits here. Okay? At ito, yung front niya, nakabolt dito sa back plate. Diba? So yung internal niya, yung sa gitna, nag-slide lang yan. Pag ganun. So dito, pumapasok yung pin. Yan. Pagka nandyan na yung pin, ikot sila sa unit. Diba? So, yun yung purpose nitong pin na to. Pagka nandyan yung pin, isang unit sila. Pagka walang oil pressure at walang command na mag-on yung variable o hindi kailangan, itong pin na to, nandyan ang bahay niyan. Walang adjustment o walang advancement or walang pagbabago doon sa camshaft timing. Pagka nandyan yung pin. Ngayon ang nangyayari, pagka ubos yung langis o kukunti yung langis, walang enough pressure to push this out. Kasi dito papasok yung langis diyan sa opening na dyan. Papasok yung langis dyan. Pag ganun, pupush niya to palabas na ganun. Pag na-push na, saka lang iikot yung loob. Eh pagkakulang yung langis mo, hindi niya to may push ng todo, o may push man, bumabalik pa din. So pagka nag-stuck ba, push niya dyan, tapos kulang, may pagbalik niya, kaya nawawala yung lock. So hindi sila naglalak. Or meron din in these cases, mahina yung, I don't know kung mahina yung spring, kasi hindi niya kayang ibalik na all the way, or hindi ito na ano sa ano, hindi lumalapat, kaya minsan maingay krakatakatak. Yeah, sorry. Yung krakatakatak ganun yung tunog niya pagka first start up, kasi ito yon gumagalaw. Hindi dapat nakalock siya para isa silang unit na umikot. Again, magre-release lang to kung may command ang PCM, ito turn on niya to at push niya yan, and then saka lang iikot yung variable, yung vein natin dito. Uy, muntik na ulog. So pagka wala yung vein, ganyan lang, mahulog siya. Di ba? Ang at rest ito, since this is intake, ang movement lang ito is advance. So ang at rest nito ay naka-retard. At rest ganyan. Ang movement niya ay pag ganun lang. Pag ganun lang ang movement niya. Okay? Kaya nagdala ako ng exhaust para ipakita sa inyo yung pagkakaiba. Ngayon, buksan natin tong exhaust. The same line construction niya with pin and spring and all. The same din yung internal. That's actually very simple, but like I said, it's too simple that they fail. I've done so many of this. So ito yung exhaust side niya. Ito yung spring, nawala ko yung ano kanina. So titignan natin yung pagkakaiba nila. Tapos ito, meron din to, of course, pin. Ayan, pagka nawala na yung pin, this can turn like that. See? Without turning the sprockets. Sprockets stay the same. Pagka nag-off na to, yung spring na ito, nakakabit yan dito sa isa, dito. Tapos yung isa dito. So yung spring, ang pupush niya pabalik, pag ganyan. So, di ba? Pagka nandyan na siya sa all the way, yung pin is gonna fall into place, and then yung spring pupush niya yung pag ganyan, and then you cannot it didn't actually fall in its place. Kailangan kasi naka-line up yung back plate. Hindi tayo naka-line up sa back plate. Are we? No? Okay. So let's put that in place, and then the back plate is moving. So anyway, ang hirap kasi maybe I can bolt this one just to hold the back plate. So as you guys can see, now hindi ko na siya maggalaw, konting-konti na lang. Dapat ganyan yung atras niya. Diba? I think this is worn out. Kasi masyadong nagagalaw pa rin siya. Or, since hindi nakabolt masyado, actually ginagagalaw yung back plate Yan yung umiikot. Hindi kasi nakabolt Kunti lang pala. Ayan So pagka nandoon yung pin, hindi yan gagalaw. Ito yung at rest position, no oil pressure. Pag pumasok yung oil pressure, angat to. And then you can move this. Pagka umangat siya ng ganyan, let's see, hirap. Then you can actually move this one like that. Okay, now anong pagkakaiba nila? This is exhaust, this is intake. Pretty much the same. Ang pagkakaiba ay yung rotation. So kung mapapansin ninyo guys, kaya yung mga dual overhead cam na sinasabi ko ay may tigisa silang phaser or VVT. Kasi yung exhaust kailangan mag-retard, yung intake naman kailangan mag-advance. So in this case, babalik ko muna to para makita natin. Medyo mahaba yung video pero that's okay. You only do it once. And we need to find the proper alignment. That's not it. Maybe you're in the wrong position. Wait lang guys kailangan matama natin to sa position niya. Para makita niyo yung pagkakaiba ng pag-ikot ng camshaft. Nakakalito minsan pero siguro now. Okay, so ayan na. At rest position. And this one, at rest position. So, ang pagkakaiba, intake, this is exhaust. So, kung makikita nyo guys, baliktad. Di ba? So, baliktad. At rest position niya, ganito sa intake. Kasi, pagka this is an intake. Oh yeah, tama. Kasi nakaganyan tayo. So, pagka nakabolt to, ang pag-ikot niya lang ay pag ganun. Di ba? So, i-advance niya lang. Kung ang ikot ng makina ay ganito, sorry. So, pagka nakabolt to nun, ganyan, di ba? So, pag ang ikot ng makina ay ganito, clockwise, ito naman mag-advance lang. Clockwise. Yung intake. Like that. Okay? Ang rest position niya ay kung saan yung pin mahuhulog, which is gonna be that right there. So as you guys can see, yung intake nakabolt to ganyan ha. Ito yung camshaft. Ito yung bolt. Ito yung camshaft. So baliktad tayo. Nalilito na rin ako. Ganyan pala. Ganyan ang bolt niyan. So camshaft nandito. So ganito ang bolt niya. So as you guys can see, clockwise din yung ikot. Okay, clockwise. Pag ganun. Sa exhaust naman, baliktad. Kung makikita nyo, ang empty spot ay nandito. So pagpasok ng langis dyan, magre-retard naman to. Magre-retard na pag ganun. Okay? So, nagkalas na. Again, ang exhaust natin ay ito ang yung nakaharap sa ito. So pagka ito yung at rest position, pagpasok ng langis, boom, ikot siya pag ganun. Pa counterclockwise. Kaya sila magkaiba. So intake, clockwise yung turn, pa-advance yung exhaust. Counterclockwise yung turn, pa-retard. Okay? So hindi sila pwedeng pagpalitin. Pag pinagpalit mo yan, todas. Yari ang tutukod yan pag pinagpalit mo. Okay, so ganun lang mga sir, no? Like I said, this is just generic knowledge. All manufacturers have their own design, but this is pretty simple, and I think it's pretty visually easier to understand. Kaya ito yung ginamit ko ngayon. But they're all the same. Once you know the system, you have to know the system to actually fix it. Kung hindi mo alam yung system, you're probably not gonna be able to fix it accurately. Okay? We're gonna go back to this monitor. Now that you guys know, I'm just gonna throw this away. They're all trash. You're not supposed to take this apart, okay guys? Pagka pumalya yung VVT or VCT, replace the whole thing. Do not take it apart because you can't even get parts for it. May mga galing na kaya pang rebuild yan, but for the most part, let's just replace the whole thing. We're gonna go back to this board that I made, kung ano yung strategy niya at kung paano nalalaman ng computer kung gumagana ba or hindi ang VVT or variable valve timing. Hugas lang ang kamay and then we're gonna... So back tayo dito sa diagram natin mga sir na ginawa ko, no? This is just very simple generic knowledge kind of stuff. So pagka na-figure out ng PCM mo, nag-decide na, well, I need more power because the demand is more. The input from the driver says I need more power. I need to activate the variable valve timing system or VVT system. The PCM gets it from its inputs. So we have load inputs. There's so many inputs. Speed sensor, map sensor, TPS sensor. You know, there's so many loads that the PCM used to ginagamit ng PCM to, you know, figure out kung gaano kalaki yung kailangan ng advancement or retardness, something, kung gaano karami. Kasi this one, it's not on off na full and then off, full off, full off. So this one is like, it varies. So paiba-iba. 10%, 20% advance, 30%, you know, depende na lang yan. So the PCM sends this grounds to solenoid. I just put 2 wires here, but usually this goes to a, let's just say 12 to a battery. I should actually change that. So I made a mistake here. This should be positive. So this one goes to, let's say, just fuse. Pangit ng fuse. And then positive power, 12 volt. So not to the PCM. It should have been 12 volts because it's a 12 volt system. So okay, scratch this one. So the solenoid actually gets power from battery or sometimes PCM. So it really depends kung anong wiring diagram nyo, anong setup nyo. Sometimes this is ground all the time and then power is coming from the PCM. So it's not really, like I said, it's just generic info. So you have to look at your wiring diagram kung ano yung setup ng solenoid nyo. Kung both wires goes to the PCM, so PCM provides power and ground, or one of them is like say ground all the time and then PCM provides voltage, or maybe this is power all the time and PCM provides ground. So depende na lang yun sa setup. So anyway, pag nakita ng PCM kailangan ng power, so let's just say this one is 12 volts all the time. Okay, it sends, the PCM sends pulse width modulation, so on off signal, square wave signal to this solenoid, depending kung how much advance is needed, then it will really depends on the demand. So it's pulse width modulated solenoid, so you probably hear it click 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 click. That means it's actually the PCM is actually turning this off. It's not like on and then off, on for a while then off. No, it's like this, it's like that, on off on off. It's really fast. So because it's pulse width modulated, so you cannot just put 12 volts here like all the time. It's gonna burn the solenoid, so it has to be on off real quick. Depending, maybe it's like this or like this, depending on the PCM, whatever the PCM decides. If it's like this, then it's most likely 100% advancement full, like that. If it's like this, it's just maybe 50% or something. Okay, so the PCM send pulse width modulation here, and then this is actually bolted to the, this one is bolted to the cam caps, or I don't know, sometimes on the side of the head, but regardless, this will send oil pressure to the VCT. So it will send oil pressure here, and this will actually cause to turn. Oil pressure will cause this to turn from at rest position. First, it's gonna get rid of the pin lock, push niya yun, and then turn. Okay, so the sprocket stays the same, in sync with the crankshaft, but the camshaft moves. Okay, so pagka nag-move na yun, everything's good, right? No issue. Like, let's pretend everything is good, normal, no issue in this scenario. So kung nag-move na yung nag-flow na yung oil pressure here, so the camshaft moved, makikita ngayon yan lang. So this one is bolted to the camshaft, so this one bolted to the camshaft. So if this moves, so the camshaft moves, right? So it's bolted to here, so if this moves like that, the camshaft also moves. So pagka nag-move yung camshaft, it's gonna be picked up by cam position sensor. Yung cam position sensor will report to PCM. Okay, sometimes it's 3 wire, sometimes it's 2 wire, depending on the setup. It's crazy, but there's no like standard on this one. So sometimes 2 wire, sometimes 3. So kung nag-move yung camshaft, it needs to report it to the PCM. So makikita ng camshaft yung movement. Oh, okay. Send that to the PCM, and the PCM, okay, everything is good. It did what I wanted it to do. Like, ginawa niya kung ano yung gusto kong gawin, and I saw that by signal of the camshaft. Of course, it's gonna tinitignan niya rin yung crankshaft at the same time, di ba? So ganun yung flow nito, mga sir, no? PCM decides kung how much degrees of advancement or retardness, I guess, and then the solenoid turns on. It allows oil flow to flow through here and into the camshaft, VCT's phaser or VVT, and turns the camshaft, and then the PCM needs to know if the actual command is nagawa. So if that's everything checks out good, walang issue, then everything's good. Sometimes you get these codes, you see these codes, then one of them failed. It's either the solenoid, the VCT, not really the sensor. So I wouldn't even, unless there's something that I have seen before na may build up here because the vacuum pump failed, so it's not able to detect the reluctor wheel from the camshaft. Yeah, and then we'll throw I think it was P0012, but the issue was the vacuum pump failed, and this is magnet, so it actually attracts all the metal, so it's not able to detect the camshaft position. It throw P0012, but it was just a vacuum pump. Diba? So, ganun. Okay mga boss, no? So that's it. As I've said earlier, the VVT or variable timing system relies on oil pressure. So check your oil pressure. Not oil pressure. Check your oil, guys. Pagka konti na lang yung oil nyo, then you'll have low oil pressure. If you have low oil pressure, you're not gonna be able to turn this bulb, or you're not gonna be able to turn this camshafts, this VCT, and it will actually cause check engine light to turn on. So I've seen it a lot of times when people bring in their cars, and then you heard it right away, like as soon as you started, like it's clunking, rattling, whatever. And then you check the oil, it's almost empty. So there you go, that's your problem. If you do that all the time, then you will actually wear this pin out, and it will cause all kinds of issue, and it's expensive. So yeah, check your oil, guys. Very important. Make sure you change your oil all the time, because this system really is dependent on oil. If you get some clogs here, like dirt here, yeah, that will actually affect oil flow, and that will actually trigger check engine light with variable valve TTC. So make sure you change your oil regularly. Okay, so I hope that's it for I hope you guys learned something. So that's gonna be it for today. It's been a long video, but I hope you guys learned something, and I'll see you guys next time.